with 90 days coming up until the presidential election takes place. There's a lot of talking that's going on, and uh, it's going to be a nasty election. But in order for the Democrats to win this election, it's called the art of war. They must fight fire with fire. Welcome to Tyrone Bowman Live. This is what I'm going to be talking about on this evening, how the Democrats can really win this election. So what's at stake here? Well, we saw Kamala Harris and her VP choice, Tim Walz, yesterday in Philadelphia, as they were talking about two different visions for this nation. It is ironic that the MAGA Republicans with their MAGA in chief, they're always crying foul. They're always whining. They're always saying someone's lying, someone's cheating, someone's trying to steal. They're nasty people. Really? The Democrats have been too nice. That's the problem. For so long, the Democratic Party has been invisible. We didn't even know where you all were for a period of time. And for a period of time, President Joe Biden, he was MIA, missing in action. We didn't see him on the scene. We didn't know where he was. And then you all had an internal battle about President Biden stepping aside, which he graciously did at some point in time, because all the polls were against him. Trump and the Republicans, they were already gleefully glad that Biden is sick, that he's ill, that he's not at his best. Well, let me tell you something. Trump is not at his best either. I don't care what front they try to put up. That's why they keep the camera far away from him and don't do too many close-ups. Trump is old. He's tired. He'll be 79 years old pretty soon. He doesn't speak coherently. He's always rambling and babbling all over the place. When he does try to stay on point, he can't focus. Those are signs of dementia. Those are signs of senility. And as the old folks used to say when I was growing up, old-timers disease. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to read something in a few moments, but I'm laying this foundation here. The book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, I've read it many, many times. It's a book about strategy. It's a book, if you listen to it or if you read it thoroughly, it will tell you how you can combat and defeat your enemy every single time. The Democrats have to stop being nice. You don't have to be nice to your opponents. You don't have to be nice to Trump and the MAGA haters and the MAGA bigots and the MAGA racists. You don't have to be nice to them. This is a political war. A natural war. Individuals are prepared from the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines in basic training and boot camp. They are taught how to survive and how to defeat their enemy and how not to give up intel secrets if they are captured. Well, it's the same psychological mindset on the political battleground. The reason why Trump is being nasty toward Harris, because first of all, she's a black woman. And you know he cannot stand that. That gets under his crawl. And number two, she's educated, she's articulate, she's intelligent, and she's not going to bow down to him. Kamala Harris is a formidable opponent. So all they have in their arsenal is the same old tricks, it's the same old dog and pony show. Hate, hate, bitterness, bitterness, race, race, bigotry, bigotry, racism, racism, sexism, sexism. That's all they have. They can't articulate the issues because their do-nothing Congress hasn't done anything. They stalled everything in the Senate. When Barack Obama became president of the United States, see, people have, sometimes I got to take people back in time. As I said a few days ago, the content that I make, the channel that I have, it is for black people. Everybody's welcome, but I'm primarily talking to a black audience. I'm talking to my people because I want my people to understand the deep intricacies of politics, and I break them down. As a criminal justice major, I research, study, analyze, and then I come before this camera and I break things down. I want to simplify things because I want my people to understand point blank what is at stake here. This is not a game. This is not a joke. These people will lie. These people will cheat. They're trying to find a way to steal the election. Stop the steal. No, we need to stop them from trying to enact stop the steal, because they're the ones that don't have a message. They're the ones that are weak. They're the ones that are inept. They are the ones that are all over the place. Trump wants to take us back in time when America was a dangerous place over 50 to 100 years ago. We're not going back to Jim Crow. We're not going back to racism. We're not going back to segregation. We will be damned if we're going to sit in the back of the bus because somebody is telling us that we have to. We're not going back to slavery. I came up through a family that came from the deep South, and the psychological scars they had embedded deep in the inside of their minds, and the stories that they told me about the deep South and the horrors of Jim Crow and the stuff that they had to deal with on a continual basis, the humiliating crap that black women had to put up with just to put food on the table for their family from these filthy, disgusting, deranged, perverted white men. What our gospel singers and preachers have had to put up with down through the years in the southern lands. This is what's at stake here. All the voting rights, they're trying to take every voting right, and he's hollering that no felon should have the right to vote. Well, then, damn it, he shouldn't have the right to vote because he's been convicted of a crime and crimes as well. What is good for one, it should be good for others. If he's allowed to run to become the president of the United States as a convicted felon, how come somebody like I, who went to prison, did my time, came out? Why should not my voting rights be restored? Thank God they are, because I should have never been in there in the first place. See, I don't care what folk know about me. I come before the camera and I speak from the heart. I speak forcefully. I speak forthright. I don't have to bite my tongue. This is one black man. I'm not bowing down to nobody. Not doing it. Nada. Not going to happen. And in this election, we better get off our asses and get out in these streets and vote like we've never voted before. Because this dude wants to take us back to Jim Crow. This dude wants to take us back to slavery. This dude wants to take us back to the back of the buses and segregated restaurants. This dude has been reading Mein Kampf over and over and over again, and he's taking pages right out of Hitler's playbook, because I've read Mein Kampf 4 or 5 times, from page to page, cover to cover, and word to word. I've read it. You got too many pacified black men over on Fox, the racist and bigoted network. They don't even let the black people talk. They're just there for show. Democrats, you have to fight fire with fire. This is not a time for passivity. Get together and unify around your candidates. Come into your convention. Come into your convention and come out unified and be prepared for the battle in the heart and soul of America. Work like you've never worked before. I want to show you something. First, I'm going to read you something. Then I'm going to show you something. This is what these Republicans want. And the coward Republicans who are sitting on the sidelines, they probably helped to plan the insurrection, knowing half of them. According to Wikipedia, the 2020 United States elections were held on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. The Democratic Party's nominee, former Vice President Joe Biden, defeated incumbent Republican President Donald Trump in the presidential election. Despite losing seats in the House of Representatives, Democrats retained control of the House and gained control of the Senate. As a result, the Democrats obtained a government trifecta, the first time since the elections in 2008 that the party gained unified control of Congress and the presidency. With Trump losing his bid for re-election, he became the first defeated incumbent president to have overseen his party lose the presidency and control of both the House and the Senate since Herbert Hoover in 1932. This was the first time since 1980 that either chamber of Congress flipped partisan control in the presidential year, and the first time Democrats did so in 1948. Over there on Truth Social, that racist platform, all they do is bash, 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 bash. Tear people down all day long. And then when people get tired of their BS and decide to fight back, then all of a sudden they're nasty. But you all say nasty things about black people every day. And I know y'all call us the N-word behind closed door, but mark my word, y'all gonna slip up one day. Because what's in your heart is gonna come out of your mouth. You're gonna slip up somewhere during the campaign. Guarantee it. And the N-word is gonna come out of your mouth. It's gonna come right out of the mouth of the MAGAs. What's in you is gonna come out of you. You can lie, you can try to hide, you can try to cover it up, but what's in you ultimately is coming to the forefront. And I don't care about what people think about me. I'm not going to sit back and be quiet and think that black people are going to be walked over and walked over and walked over. When they killed the 4 young girls in Birmingham, Alabama, the KKK leaders weren't even arrested. When they killed Emmett Till, when he was just murdered just for nothing. Sonia Massey, she was brutalized and murdered by a racist, bigoted cop who should not have been on the force, and he shot her point blank in the head, and he lied, and he covered it up, thinking that no one was going to pay attention to it. George Floyd was choked to death by Derek Chauvin. The time has come in America. Our people are intelligent. Our people are strong. We're not a weak people. We're not a forsaken people. We're not a people that don't have intelligence. We have minds. We have intelligence. We know how to organize. And understand this, if these white racists can't stand us, we need to boycott their businesses. The power of boycotting. They're always hollering boycott this. We need to boycott them. Tune them out. Well, let's go back in time. Let me show you how it all went down. And these are the same people always crying foul. Said they were not insurrectionists. They were patriots. Really? Well, let's look at this.
Criminals hide evidence, not honest people. So, over the next 10 days, we get to see the machines that are crooked, the ballots that are fraudulent, and if we're wrong, we will be made fools of. But if we're right, a lot of them will go to jail. So, let's have trial by combat.
All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is all about.
He's not the
And to
president.
use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country. Our country. Our country has been under siege for a long time.
We are gathered at a time when democracy
This coward right here.
is in crisis. Recent polling shows that 39% of Americans believe the election that just occurred, quote, was rigged. You may not agree with that assessment, but it is nonetheless a reality for nearly half the country.
Madam Speaker, I have constituents outside this building right now. I promised my voters to be their voice. In this branch of government, which I now serve, It is my separate but equal obligation to weigh in on this election and object.
Yeah, I've heard enough of her. Check this out. There was nothing peaceful about what happened on January 6th. They were not patriots. They were not peaceful. They had the gallows up there ready to hang Mike Pence. Former Vice President Mike Pence refused to get into the car when the Secret Service tried to order him in, and said, "I'm not getting in that car." And most of you all, you're blinded. You're simply blinded because you choose to be blinded. If you don't learn how to stand up to bullies and stand up to your enemies, they will obliterate you in this world. Somebody said in the comment section, we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. No, we're not. No, we're not all brothers and sisters in Christ. And you white racist evangelicals down in the South, you think you're so smug, you think you're so smart, you think you're so slick. Remember this as I close. It was the white racist church that gave the world slavery. They endorsed it. They preached it from their pulpits and from the Bible, trying to make black people think we were cursed. We're not cursed. We're not forsaken. It's time to wake up. If you think Trump's first run as president was something, sleep on him. Keep saying everything he's saying is not real. It's a game. It's a joke. Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, and all that crap. Keep on thinking that. It's called the art of war. You fight fire with fire. Never surrender. Never quit.